Good evening, everyone. My name is Rich Kana. I have the good fortune of being the CEO at Atlanta Track Club here in Atlanta, the city that we like to call Running City, USA. As we get started with our program this evening, I would ask a favor of everyone if they could just look at their phones and make sure that they are on silent. Thank you. On behalf of the Ahmaud Arbery Foundation and Atlanta Track Club, we're pleased to bring this conversation to this group, to this city, and to the running community at large. Atlanta Track Club's mission is to impact health and wellness through running and walking. And I say with great frequency, when I interact with our participants, our members, runners and walkers from all over Atlanta, and to be honest, from all over the country, that running and walking are universally accessible. And until 2020, I believed that. I believed that running was universally accessible. Because for 47 years, as I have been on my running journey, and I've run a lot, 40,000 miles in roughly 40 US states, 35 countries. I've never once feared for my safety because of my skin color when I've been out on a run. In 2020, I learned, like everybody else in the running community, that this idea of being universally accessible is currently a myth. And the Track Club has been on a journey to talk about this myth, to move forward as a community, Atlanta community, running community, and to address and to talk about something that I just really never understood. This thing that is running while black. So with that, I'd like to introduce, starting, and it's appropriate to introduce her now, Alison Mariella Désir. Alison, if you could come on up to the stage. Alison is the author of the book, Running While Black. And now I'd like to introduce Wanda Cooper-Jones up to the stage. Wanda knows better than anybody the issues, the fears that accompany running while black through the tragedy that she has experienced. And with that, I'm going to step off the stage and allow Alison and Wanda to have a conversation. And I would encourage everyone to listen and to learn and be part of this journey that we are all on, so that Atlanta can lead the way in the area of understanding the issues that we have all learned about since the tragic death of Ahmaud Arbery in 2020. Thank you.
Hello, it's
Hello?
hello. Am I? But there's no sound. Okay, well, I'll talk a little louder. Hi, everyone. I'm so grateful to be here, to be with Ms. Wanda. Hello, yes, we've been chatting and laughing and sharing stories, and I'm incredibly honored to have this opportunity. I am going to start with a short reading from my book. Wanda and I were talking about how she's been listening to the book and how the introduction in particular resonated with her, and I think it's fruitful for this conversation. It's 6 p.m. and I'm getting ready for a run. I add electrolytes into my water and shuffle through my drawer. I toss clothes around, searching for an appropriate outfit. It's unseasonably warm, so it might be nice to rock a sports bra and shorts, but I shake my head. I want to be seen as a runner, but I don't want to call extra attention to myself. I settle on a bright long-sleeve shirt with reflective bands, a shirt that screams, "I'm running, don't shoot." As I dress, I debate my route. I could head toward the trail, but then I'd pass the house with the American flag and start wondering if it's safe. And then I'd be annoyed that white nationalists have somehow claimed the flag as if the rest of us aren't Americans too. I tell myself to stop generalizing, but decide it's not worth the risk or the stress. I wanted to start with that because as we were talking, you mentioned that very quickly after the world learned the news of the murder of Ahmaud Arbery, the focus started to be on what he was wearing.
Yes.
Can you tell me how that felt for you, knowing that the focus was not on him as a human, right, but on his attire and whether he was a so-called runner?
Yes, sure. Ahmaud was, he was 25 years old, and at the time of his murder, he was having some mental health issues. So Ahmaud sometimes would just run with any type of attire. He could have on shorts, he may have on jeans. If he felt like running, he would run. But the time that Ahmaud was killed, Ahmaud was actually wearing a pair of khaki shorts and a white t-shirt and a pair of Nike tennis shoes with no socks. And I'm sitting back in the back of the courtroom doing trial, and they were saying that Ahmaud was not a runner because he didn't have on a proper running attire. Regardless of what he had on, Ahmaud was running. He wasn't committing a crime, and he shouldn't have been killed.
Tell me about Ahmaud as you remember him. Before this fateful day, tell us about your son.
Ahmaud was my baby. It's really hard for me right now because I lost Ahmaud 3 years yesterday. And he was the baby of the family. Ahmaud was silly. Ahmaud was kind. With all that being said, Ahmaud was my baby boy. Ahmaud was very interested in sports from an early age. He started with flag football, like about 5. Then he migrated to football all through high school. But when he became a young adult, Ahmaud was really, really focused, and he had some challenges again in mental health. And he was trying to fight through that. And then he began to run. And I felt like when he began to run, Ahmaud felt like he was free. He was free from everything, all of the challenges he was encountering. And he ran. He went for a run almost twice a day, one in the morning, one at night, in the afternoon, if the weather permitted him to do so.
That resonates so deeply with me because running for me also saved my life. It changed my life. I told you behind the scenes that that's how I found my husband.
Yeah.
Running to me is my world, and I feel so connected in knowing that about Ahmaud. When did running come into his life, would you say? And this idea of who's a runner, who can be a runner, and did he embrace that title himself?
Yes, I can say that. Like I shared earlier, Ahmaud, earlier he was just a basketball, football guy. But as he became older and started having these mental health challenges, Ahmaud began to run. And I think that he finally found something that he could do to actually feel free. I can't say that he wasn't running as a child. This is something that he adopted, and I think it was adopted just to help him feel better.
Mental health is so stigmatized, not just within the Black community, but communities at large. How did his mental health challenges impact your family, impact how your relationship with him?
Ahmaud was the baby again, I must say, but when I began to have these problems with Ahmaud and the mental health issues, it was all new to me as a mom. I was a single mom. Ahmaud had an older brother and an older sister, and all of this was new. I didn't know how to I didn't have the resources to actually seek help. And we just tried to put a Band-Aid on it until we can deal with it.
And you know, when I think about the way that you've used his mental health challenge, or you've recognized his mental health challenges and the importance of being public about it, and launching the Ahmaud Arbery Foundation, can you tell me about the goals of the foundation and sort of what your hopes are?
Yes. The Ahmaud Arbery Foundation was founded when I first lost Ahmaud. I thought from the minute that I lost him, and then when I learned how he was killed, I knew that I had to come up with something to make his name be known forever. Like I shared earlier, Ahmaud did have some mental challenges, and he was running. So the foundation is going to focus on physical and mental wellness. I think that's very important that we give these services in the Black community, because sometimes they're overlooked.
I think so much as, you know, being a mother to a 3.5-year-old, and my book itself was born out of hearing about the murder of Ahmaud Arbery and seeing my son's face in his face. You didn't sign up to be an advocate or activist. You didn't sign up to carry this weight. How do you manage your own mental health? How do you find the power and drive to keep going when things are tough?
When I first lost Ahmaud, I had never in my life sought any type of mental health psychiatrist or therapist. But I found myself where I needed some help. I needed to go speak to someone. I'm now seeing a therapist once a month. I do that because I realized that if I don't keep myself healthy mentally, I'm not going to be any good for me or anyone else.
Absolutely. Are there days, you know, last night we gathered to honor Ahmaud's life. Are there days that are more difficult than others? How do you show up on those days?
I shared with you earlier that I started doing like a 2-3 mile walk. The first day I did that walk, I walked on a trail. And I often saw myself as Ahmaud. That I was walking, but he was running, and he had no idea that his life was in danger. So after that walk, I took about 2 days off to gather myself, because Ahmaud was killed. He was clueless that first of all, he ran for 7 minutes before he was killed. And when he left my home on that Sunday afternoon, Ahmaud had no clue that he would not return. So I pray, I ask God for strength, and that's basically why I'm still sitting here.
Outside of the tragic thing that happened to him, what do you want us to know about Ahmaud? How do you want us to think of Ahmaud? I know that it's particularly important to you to be aware of the language that we use around, right? This is not a celebration, right? This was a tragic day. But how do you want us to uplift his name and keep his legacy alive?
Ahmaud was taken away from me back in 2020, but since then the state of Georgia has made some changes in laws, and it was all implemented by the loss of Ahmaud. I want people to look at Ahmaud Arbery as a man of change. We've got the citizens arrest law repealed, and in the state of Georgia, when Ahmaud was killed, there was not a hate crime law, and that hate crime law was implemented at that time.
I want to dig deep into that just for the sake of the audience, because it was yesterday when we were in the 223 run, I remember hearing from the legislator who spoke that Georgia is actually the only state where that law has been repealed, right? And this is a law that dates back to slavery, a law intended to do exactly what it did. That to me was a reminder of just how much further we have to go.
Exactly.
I even think about this event tonight, and the way that I find myself here is because of using my voice to share that the running industry had not taken notice of the murder of Ahmaud Arbery, that the running industry did not consider him to be a runner. So I want to thank Atlanta Track Club for the opportunity, but also recognize that for all of us who live that experience, it can feel like it's too little too late.
Yes.
Right? But you have told me that you've been training for something,
Yes.
that you've been walking every day. Tell me what you've been training for, and what's up next for you.
I guess you guys can tell that I've been training to do my first boxing match. It's going to happen in July of 2023. All jokes.
I was going to say, who are you boxing?
I'm so proud to announce that Atlanta Track Club has partnered with the Ahmaud Arbery Foundation for the first 5K run. It's going to take place on May the 6th.
Yes.
here in Atlanta.
And if you're not in Atlanta, can you participate? How do you, can folks from all over the country get involved?
I'm hoping that it can be implemented as a virtual run as well, but if you're in the city of Atlanta, please come out and support the the Ahmaud Arbery Foundation, please.
And you can actually sign up right here today. We've got the QR codes. I want to leave some time for questions. I also want to acknowledge that while this is good news that we're celebrating this 5K, that this is still a very difficult time, and be mindful with your questions and comments, and we'll give some time to chat with Wanda.
Nobody has questions for me?
And then you guys can share.
So good evening. CJ Stewart, my wife Kelly and I are co-founders of the Lead Center for Youth. So, with the run, I'm definitely going to be signing up. I'm going to hopefully get Kelly to run it as well, too.
I saw Kelly last night running.
Yes.
Yeah, you did.
And I have become an avid runner because of Ahmaud. So my question is even with the things y'all are doing, is there a desire to have programming around that? I know even for me, as a 46-year-old black man, and just making sure that I'm surrounded by people year-round to help me achieve my goals. I think running could be something that could be amazing, but with the foundation, is this something that y'all are wanting to do year-round for boys?
The foundation wants to do work every day, 24 hours a day. The foundation is fairly new. We're hoping to partner with other entities that are doing the work now until we can form our own programs.
I just want to shout out that we are in Atlanta. Black Men Run is based here. We've got one of the co-founders of Black Men Run here. And the warmth of the community, you will absolutely, if you don't already run with them, it's an amazing opportunity to feel seen and feel a sense of belonging. Is there a question from the little one?
Wanda, Rich over here, you and I have sat and talked about the launch of the Run with Maude 5K Run Walk on May 6th.
Yes, sir.
Could you tell us what the ideal day would be for all of us who will participate and be involved with, and to Alison's point, Atlanta Track Club, the Ahmaud Arbery Foundation, and all the running organizations that are represented here tonight are going to work together to make sure this meets or exceeds your expectations in terms of fundraising and the learning. So, is there any initial sort of thought of what is that ideal day for you?
May 6th is actually 2 days before Ahmaud's 29th birthday, which I think the timing was perfect because that is his birthday weekend. Just having people to come out and support a great cause. The foundation, like I said, is just starting, but we're going to do great work. And just come out and support and know that you're running for a good cause.
And donate.
Miss Wanda,
Yes, ma'am.
I know when you take a stand for something, especially when it comes down to things dealing with race, it can be a lot of tension or can cause contention. If, I'm assuming you still live in your same community. Is that the case?
No, I actually moved to Atlanta.
Okay, so I was gonna ask, how was that at first when your son was murdered, being in that community and knowing that there were people who felt like there was nothing wrong with what happened? What was that pressure like, living day to day?
I often thought that, I shared earlier that I was a single mom. Sometimes I worked 2 jobs. I paid my taxes, I abide by the rules. And the place that I chose to raise my children, there were people who thought that we were less than, who lived less than 2 miles away. It's very heartbreaking to know that I lived to such, I can't think of a good word, of such bad things. But it was a eye-opener that I was living in a bubble. Everybody didn't think the way I thought. Everybody didn't share the same beliefs that I had. So I was forced to change my way of thinking.
Hello, Wanda.
Hey, Miss Aisha.
So, of course, I'm going to bring the conversation back to the race and ask you a question just around the fundraising and anyone who's in the room. If you can tell them a little bit more around some of the things that we're hoping to do with the support that we get from the race, not just from individual supporters, but from sponsors as well. Some of the things in our sponsorship package that we look forward to doing as we ramp things up through the foundation.
Well, Miss Aisha, you're my fundraiser, so you can answer that question.
So seeing as though I put myself on the spot, we do plan to do some things around getting some staff on board, some things that Wanda and the team at the Ahmaud Arbery Foundation need to ramp things up. In the next couple of weeks, she and her board of directors will be doing a session where they'll be doing some strategic outlook planning. So we want you guys to be confident and comfortable with knowing that the donations, the sponsorships will be going to getting things off the ground and making sure that we keep the mission and the #1 undercurrent of mental and physical health infused in everything that we do and with who we partner with. So thank you in advance.
Thank you, Aisha. Well, I guess I see everyone running on May 6th.
Absolutely.
All right.
I'm not sure it's appropriate for a conversation that has the importance and the gravity of this to applaud, but I recognize how hard it is, Wanda, especially around this time, 3 years from 2020. So if we can, let's show our appreciation to Wanda for her willingness.
Thank you, guys.
And Allison, we appreciate you traveling to Atlanta. And maybe more importantly, taking the time to write that book. And I would encourage everyone, whether you are a runner, a walker, whether you are old or young, whether you are black or white, to take the time to read this book. Thank you for coming.
Very good book, you all. The book is good. It's really good.
Thank you, Ms. Wanda. And can I say, for me, like I said, after the murder of Ahmaud Arbery and just thinking as a mother, like, you became larger than life to me, right? It's something that I hope I never have to face, but I am learning from your smiles throughout this process, your humor, and your steadfast commitment to showing up for what's right and long-term change. So thank you for that, Wanda. Mm-hmm.
Thank you for coming, everyone. As you can see on the left and the right, there's a QR code. Let's show by our actions as we leave here. I believe there's another one out there. Register now. Be a leader. We'll see everybody on May 6th.